Hey y'all, my name is Kayla and welcome to my cozy chaotic corner of the internet. In today's video, we are picking our TBR based off a game of bingo, and I wanted to have a little fun this month, so I thought, why not have a Christmas and July themed TBR? Now, I didn't want to get overwhelmed with only reading Christmas or winter holiday themed books, so I do have a few reading prompts on the card this month. If you guys are new here, my bingo cards are predominantly built out with reading prompts, but this month, because I personally don't own a stockpile of winter wonderland-esque books, I decided to just check out a whole boatload of holiday themed books from the library, and I just threw a lot of books on the bingo card. There are a few reading prompts just because I wanted to jazz it up, spice it up. I didn't want all my books on my July TBR to be just seasonally based, if that makes sense. So if you are new here, hi, hello. Every month we play a game of bingo to choose my TBR. Let's chat about the rules of TBR bingo. So the rules of TBR bingo are, I think, pretty easy and straightforward, and yet every single month when I go to explain it to y'all, I feel like I trip up or I over-explain or I under-explain. I'm just gonna try to keep this as succinct as possible. 1, you play a normal game of bingo until you get a bingo. 2, I have to read all of the books I pull. So if I pull 15 reading prompts, I have to read 15 books for the month. However, with that noted, the books that I absolutely 100% have to read, otherwise there is a penalty, are my bingo. So a normal bingo is either 5 across, 5 up and down, 5 diagonal. If I do not read all of the books within my bingo line, the following month, my penalty is that I have to play a game of 4 corners. And if you guys have ever played 4 corner bingo, you may as well, honestly, sometimes it feels like you may as well just be playing a game of blackout. Another rule that has a penalty, so I am allowed to DNF as many books as I like. And I am allowed to not start one book. So let's say I do pull 15 reading prompts, aka 15 books. I technically only have to read 14, or at least start 14 of those books. I can DNF as many as I want, but if I do DNF, I have to give it like a decent chunk of change and have somewhat of a valid reason for DNFing the book. If I have 15 books I'm supposed to read, and let's say I only start 13 of those 15 books, the next month I do not get a free space. And y'all, I think this is my 4th game of bingo that I've played to build out my TBR, and the only free space I have ever had was on my very first game. Will we ever get the free space back? I don't know. We'll see. One of these days, maybe we'll see a bingo card with a free space. Let's talk about last month. So last month, I was supposed to read 19 books. Of the 19 books, I started 11 of the books. I don't know about y'all, but I'm actually really impressed with that number. And of the 11 books I started, these were the books I finished. Yes. Yep. We'll talk about everything. We'll talk about everything later this week, so don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications so you're notified when my June wrap-up video is posted. June is now in the past, on to July we go, and let's just start pulling some balls. B10. Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. So y'all, I personally have never read Darcy Coates, but I have heard a lot of thriller girlies say nothing but splendid things about this author. And I thought, how fun would it be to throw her on here, throw her on the bingo card. Dead of Winter is not Christmas oriented or even holiday oriented, but you know, it involves winter. It involves winter. So this book is about a group of tourists, pretty much strangers. They're on like a touring group, and they get stuck in a snowstorm. And they're like, you know what? It's fine. Just a little snowstorm. We'll let it pass and things will be great once the snowstorm passes. But one of the mornings they wake up to finding a very gruesome scene of their tour guide outside in the front yard. But their tour guide isn't wholly there. He may have been decapitated, and his head is now on a pike outside of the house. Now we have a group of strangers living together, trying to figure out what the heck is going on, not knowing that the murderer is right under their nose. N39, The Christmas Guest. So y'all, I did not realize how teeny tiny this book was. This book has actually been on my Amazon list for quite some time. This book is under 100 pages. So this book is about a woman who is an American living in the UK, and she's invited to Christmas at a gorgeous estate. She's like, you know, having a good time, meeting everyone. Everyone seems delightful. Her friend who invited her is really splendid. And she also has a twin brother who our main character is like, oh, he's cute. He's a cutie little cutie. The police show up, and the cutie little cutie brother is a suspect to a gruesome killing. So we spend this teeny tiny little book. This book has to be jam-packed with a whole bunch of stuff, because we spend the book learning whether or not the brother actually did what he is being accused of. As I spill coffee all over myself. Oh my god. Also, I just want to go on a little side tangent. If you guys saw any of my community posts recently, I literally cannot bend down to look at this. Okay, I think I'm done. I did have an injury to my back, so this beautiful bright blue thing is a heating pad. I'm doing well. It's probably going to take a few weeks for me to be 100% back to normal, but this injury makes it a little difficult to just move about normally. I wasn't planning on bringing it up, but the fact that I literally just spilled something on myself, any sort of like major head movements is slightly painful. Just dealing with that right now. B7, Wreck the Halls. So this is a part of, y'all know those really cute, corny, like little quick mystery books. Like they seem to crank them out like there's no tomorrow. That's what Wreck the Halls is. This book is about a cute little town where the butcher is found a few weeks before Christmas, and he was found in his butcher shop. I'll let you take with that what you will. They think it's an open and shut case. They're like, we have our guy, done deal. However, things start to build up, more clues start to pile up, and our main character, who thought that she was just gonna be spending her holiday season renovating her house, is now pulled into detective work and figuring out what happened to our poor local butcher. Oh, 74, All I Want for Christmas. So y'all, All I Want for Christmas is about two singers who are a contestant in a singing competition. And they are pretty much told like, hey guys, you know what would make this so much better? If people thought you guys were a couple, and like, you know, that'll really pull at the heartstrings. They're like, oh my gosh, this cute, adorable couple, they're singing all these duets together. So cute. As most fake relationships go, they actually start to, you know, build a little connection, have a little extra chemistry. And we now have to realize, do we want to stay in this relationship? Or are we gonna end things as is determined by the producers of the show? G54, A Holly Jolly Ever After. So y'all, A Holly Jolly Ever After is written by the same authors who wrote A Merry Little Meet Cute. I actually have not read A Merry Little Meet Cute. This cover, how stinking adorable is this cover? Don't mind my crusty, dusty nails. I love this cover so much. And I know what some of you guys are thinking, because Kayla, you don't like cartoony covers. You're absolutely correct. That All I Want for Christmas cover, I was not a fan of it. But this cover is so adorable. And I think the reason I like this cover more than like a lot of other cartoony covers is that the cartoony people are like such a tiny little side note on the cover, whereas this cover is predominantly relying on the Mistletoe Theater, the Frosty Diner, and the typography. Like, I'm a big typography girly. I love when people make the words on a book or on anything, honestly, the main character, and they make it the main character in such a good way. And I feel like this book cover, gorgeous. It's like perfect for the season. The color scheme is beautiful. It has these little like metallic notes on it. I'm a big fan of this cover. Sorry, my cover hoe was coming out. So it's about an actress and a perpetually single former boy band member, and they're reunited as co-stars in a steamy holiday film. So it's a cute little rom-com about two people who are brought together to be in a little holiday movie, and I'm sure sparks are flying. G59, Slashing Through the Snow. Now, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you'll be able to really see this cover because of the glare. The cover for this I feel like it doesn't really match the title, but this is about a Maine innkeeper. Her name is Holly White, and she returns to sleuth another seasonal slaying. So apparently there's a lot of people who are dying around the holidays in Maine, and our little innkeeper, I don't know why she's the one solving the crimes, but she is. G49, we have our first reading prompt with a book with a red cover. Now, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. I was debating finally busting out A Court of Thorns and Roses. But I'm gonna make you guys wait on my opinion on that book. I feel like the Sarah J. Maas tides have settled a little. She just had her book release and now no one's really talking about her. Probably read her this fall, maybe. We'll see. So instead of A Court of Thorns and Roses, I decided I will finally finish the trilogy of The Final Gambit, which this is a part of the Inheritance Game series. I originally read the first book of the Inheritance Game series last January, like January 2023. I read the Hawthorne Legacy on a TBR 2 months ago, I believe, and I figured I'll finish the series. Oh, 65, Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogel. So this is a little ghosty story, but like a cute romance ghosty story. It's about the holiday spirit. The holidays were never her thing until she unwittingly summons the holiday spirit before her very eyes. So I hear that this book actually gets a little emotional. It's not totally a rom-com. Sorry, I have like something in my eyelash that is bugging the bejesus out of me. I-23, When Christmas Comes. Now, don't let this cover fool you. This is a thriller. I actually really like this cover because it looks all cute and Christmassy and quaint, but there's also something like slightly ominous about this cover. Or is that just me? Because I look at this cover, I'm like, there's something there. So this book is about a local elementary school teacher who was brutally murdered, and her boyfriend, who is like small town war hero, he confesses to the murder, but things start to stack up. No one really believes, like, nah, this guy's such a stand-up guy, like, he didn't do it, he couldn't have done it. So in my head I'm like, is he like trying to cover up for someone else? We spend the book, you know, with our little detective people trying to figure out who actually did this. Why is this guy saying he did it? Because we don't think he actually did. N38, The Holiday Trap. So it's just like two people around the holiday times. There's a lady from New England. There is a feller from New Orleans, and they are pretty much both like convinced by their prospective friends, like, hey, like this holiday season, we know you don't really have plans going on. Why don't you do this thing where you swap houses? So it's literally like The Holiday, but like solely in America. B13, The Stroke of Winter. Y'all, this book has been on my watch list for I think a year or two now. So this book is about Tess. She's going to renovate her family's old house or estate into a bed and breakfast. But as she's like taking care of business, she discovers a room with a collection of paintings by her late grandfather, who is a well-beloved artist. However, the paintings she finds are a little different than his well-known works and are a little bit more sinister and allude to questionable parts of his life. N36, last unread book from bookshelf. Smash is making a return because I did not start nor did I finish Smashed in the month of June. So this was on my June TBR for literally the exact same prompt of last unread book from bookshelf. So hopefully I'll finish it this month so we don't see her again. I-17, a book with a green cover. So y'all, we have Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. So many people have praised this book. I have seen so many people say this is such a great book, especially if you're interested in reading Brandon Sanderson, but you don't necessarily want to just like start reading one of his many series. Because he has a lot of fantasy series that are very extensive. But I will note, I actually read the synopsis for the first time yesterday, and based on the synopsis, I don't think I would have picked up this book. I'm intrigued to see what Mr. Sanderson is all about, because I've never read his work at all. So we'll see. B15, first unread book from bookshelf. So y'all, we are going to be cracking into Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I read the synopsis for this book for the first time yesterday, like fully read through the synopsis, and it sounds so good. Alex Stern is the most unlikely member of Yale's freshman class. Raised in Los Angeles by a hippie mom, Alex dropped out of school early and into a world of shady drug dealer boyfriends, dead-end jobs, and much, much worse. In fact, by age 20, she is the sole survivor of a horrific unsolved multiple homicide. Some might say she's thrown her life away, but at her hospital bed, Alex is offered a second chance to attend one of the world's most prestigious universities on a full ride. What's the catch? And why her? Still searching for answers, Alex arrives in New Haven tasked by her mysterious benefactors with monitoring the activities of Yale's secret societies. Their 8 windowless tombs are the well-known haunts of the rich and powerful, from high-ranking politicos to Wall Street's biggest players. But their occult activities are more sinister and more extraordinary than any paranoid imagination might conceive. They tamper with forbidden magic, they raise the dead, and sometimes they prey on the living. Oh my god, I'm actually really excited to delve in this one. 071. Bingo! For 071, we have read a book that you can finish in a day. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, this was a tough one because I have tiny little thin books that have taken me multiple days to read, and then I have giant chonkers that have taken me a day to read. So this was tough, but I did go with a smaller, shorter little book, and that is one of my recent purchases, All Systems Red by Martha Wells, part of the Murderbot series. I have heard so many people say that the Murderbot series is so much fun, so I decided to finally snatch it up and try it out for myself. But the Murderbot is literally just that. It's a robot that calls itself the Murderbot. Let me just read this quick little thing for you. I have to make myself do things I don't want to, like talk to humans. So the Murderbot is tasked with working with a group of humans, and he doesn't really want to, doesn't really like humans. He wants to just spend time with himself, figuring out itself, because like most robots, the Murderbot is supposed to be very much just like ones and twos, but he's adding a little character, a little pizzazz, starting to become not a corporeal being, but starting to, like, you know, have a sense of self, which is not the norm. But that is the end of bingo. We have 15 books that we have to read, and those 15 books are Dead of Winter, The Christmas Guest, Wreck the Halls, All I Want for Christmas, A Holly Jolly Ever After, Slashing Through the Snow, The Final Gambit, Just Like Magic, When Christmas Comes, The Holiday Trap, The Stroke of Winter, Smashed, Tress of the Emerald Sea, Ninth House, and All Systems Red. And of those 15 books, I have to read my bingo line, and my bingo line consists of Slashing Through the Snow, When Christmas Comes, The Holiday Trap, Ninth House, and All Systems Red. Thank y'all so much for joining me on this Christmas in July edition of Bingo TBR. I do actually have a quick question for you guys. I've had a few people ask, how do you build out your cards? And honestly, it's quite a neurotic process. But with that noted, the way I build out my cards, I could at least probably build out 2, maybe 3 cards monthly. So I thought it might be fun to share my cards with you guys. If you're interested in that at all, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to share cards with you guys if you are interested in playing your own versions of bingos. With that, y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.
Ho, ho, ho.